At least 40 protection guards will be deployed in a multi-million-dollar NRL operation as America's top Super Bowl security boss warns stars of sex traps and extortation attempts in Las Vegas. Now, for more, we're joined by ex-commando Wes Hennessy and retired police sergeant Glenn Gorick. Gentlemen, so great to see you.
Great to see you too, Erin. Thanks for having me on.
Such a pleasure.
Evening, Erin.
Evening, Wes. Is this necessary? They clearly think it is, but these are adult men.
I think the whole story, to be honest, is absolutely hilarious. And that's coming from a man who's been to Vegas several times. They're football players, they're grown men. To say they need this level of supervision, I think sending a bit of a probably incorrect message that they intended to send. I'd suggest they probably do need some minders to keep them out of trouble over there. And the other thing, you know, do you think they're going to get any more trouble in Vegas than they may in the centre of Sydney or Melbourne? So if they want to play up, they're going to play up. You can probably have as many people as you want around them, but I think it's not probably sending the right message to what type of characters they are by having such a orchestrated, systematic security apparatus just to keep them out of trouble.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Glenn, in terms of maybe a bit of an own goal for the NRL and being so public with this. I'm not saying they should hide it, but did it need to be such an official thing? Because what it does say to the community is, yes, our reputation as, you know, our players misbehaving off the field is completely justified and we're buying into it.
Well, Erin, look, from my perspective, we had the problems way back down in 2014. I think you broke the story about the bubbler, and I was a director at Sharks at the time, and all the security and all the things you can try and do for your players is you know, it's difficult. So what we found from our perspective down at Sharks was, let's keep them busy. So I'm hoping when they go to Las Vegas, keep them busy, get them out there doing sponsors things or signing autographs, whatever you can do, and wear them out, and then they'll just go to bed.
Okay, good luck. And just for those who aren't aware, and I won't give too much detail, but the bubbler story was Todd Carney in the bathroom, and you can use your imagination or Google. Let's move on to something else. Now, the Albanese government is announcing a new program that will help close the gap in employment outcomes by creating 3,000 jobs in remote Australia. I'll go to you, Wes, first again. What are your thoughts on this? This caught your eye this week.
Yeah, firstly, I think anything that helps the Indigenous persons of Australia is a good thing, especially those in the remote communities who are suffering or are less fortunate or have got less access to things. So first and foremost, that's great. What I don't understand and what I'd like to see a lot more within this detail, and I have read her full statement, is if we divide 3,000 by the 707 odd million, it comes out to about $237,000 each. So that's point one. Last year or the year before, the budget for our Indigenous people across numerous organisations was north of $40 billion. So what I don't understand is how is an additional $707 million required as opposed to using the funds that are already allocated. So I think that's the question here. Yeah. And lastly, I'm concerned with other Australians in remote communities. So who says that, who puts who in front of what position to get what job? So, so
you're saying other
is there a bias there
Australians
now?
in regional areas might miss out and they might be just as in need?
Yeah, that's right. Because exactly, we all know that, jobs in these areas are hard to come by when we're talking about remote parts of Australia. So that's my point. So what gives them a precedence over Australian in a remote community versus an Australian Indigenous person in a remote community? And you can see straight away that'll create divide. And what'll happen there then on the ground is you'll create conflict, which we don't want. And it comes back to creating this division. So I believe in supporting them, but I'd just like to see a lot more fidelity with what the plan and how that's actually going to roll out in communities.
Glenn, you as a former policeman for many years, firsthand dealt with Indigenous Australians, as you did other Australians. Do you think that something like this creates divide? Do you think that more jobs is needed to help the issue?
Look, it comes back to a whole lot of initiatives that have been tried. I'm a six-decade Australian. I've seen all the ideas in the world, and they all come with good intentions, but they never seem to be implemented correctly. And then the divide does occur. The what's yours is mine attitude comes into play. You have to keep them active and involved in it. And then the parenting side of it is, getting the parents to keep the kids on it. It's so difficult. And as Wes has said, let's see the strategies and let's see how they're going to implement it, because it's great to come out with the story and announce something that's a fantastic initiative, but I want to see how it works first before I can really say, how does it
really
work?
Good point. A former cyclist has voiced her opinion about why it's not bikes she hates, it's some of the entitled, this is a direct quote, don't come for me, entitled tossers who ride them. Glenn, I've seen your Instagram and it is full of cycling selfies. Would you care to respond?
Yeah, look, Erin, this is an age-old thing. It's been around forever. Look, I've lost about 7 friends over 4 decades of riding bicycles. As a professional athlete as well, I've seen it all. I've seen both sides of the camp. I've been on TV doing arguments about it for a very long time. And look, 99% of all people, road users, cars, bus drivers, everybody and cyclists do the right thing. It's just this small minority that continue to do the wrong thing. But that also doesn't give people the right to be aggressive to that small minority, because, a car versus bike loses every time. And like I say, I've lost 7 mates. So all I can say is education, and cyclists, stay off the roads in the peak hour and use your common sense. Use your common sense and find your places to ride and call your mark. Don't put yourself in harm's way.
Yeah, the thing that frustrates me, Glenn, and you're absolutely right, the safety of everyone has to be paramount. But Wes, I was in the city yesterday going to a radio panel event, and we sat in traffic, and yes, this is self-interest motivated, for I think 20 minutes for one road, one line of cars, and there were 2 bike lanes, thanks Clover Moore, 2 bike lanes empty, not one cyclist
Crazy.
for 20 minutes. And I'm saying to the driver, could you just, he's like, no, you're not allowed. Like, that annoys me. That turns me off cyclists who are really doing a wonderful thing by getting out there.
I drive cars, Erin. I'm on your side on that argument all day long. All day long, I ride, but I drive a car, and I've seen it all.
That's the frustrating part. It doesn't help, does it, Wes?
I think it's like a lot of things. We're talking about a couple of bad apples here. So, I think in any group you get people that flex the laws. I'm talking about some of the cyclists, because that's was the initial remark. So you do get some. We've all come across them, and that's where they get this bad rap. At the end of the day, they're people out exercising. There's the rule of law and the rule on the roads, which if they abide by, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Glenn, they're supposed to be given 1 or 1.5 metre berth. They're supposed to ride when they ride in groups a certain way. So if they are abiding by the road rules for cyclists, then drivers just need to be a little bit patient. Is it really worth running over someone? That's what you need to ask for the 1 minute extra that you're going to gain on time. We're not going to remove bikeways now with the amount that local councils and state governments have invested in them. They're there to stay. So I think we all just need to, manoeuvre around the roadways, etc., without causing any harm or, the aggressive behaviour like you spoke about, Erin, upon each other. And at the end of the day, it's just uncalled for. We've all honked them a couple of times. It is what it is. Just stay away from each other.
Speak for yourself, Wes. I never honk anyone on the road. That's ridiculous. Finally, we are just minutes away, and I know you two are frothing over this. Taylor Swift's first show in Melbourne. This is bigger than the Beatles, than anything else. It is utterly ridiculous. Are you fans yourself? Are you going? Do you think it's mad? Wes, what do you think?
Look, there's no doubt she's an amazing performer. We need to give her that, and she's got a astronomical, disproportionate, you could argue, following. So I get all that. I'd be asking, what's the health behind some of the obsessiveness? I think there are areas that we need to look at. I've seen universities that have studied her phenomenon.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so it is kind of a bit crazy that, we've got doctorates and professors looking at how Tay-Tay's changing culture. And that's where, as you can imagine, my response is...
Yeah, you can understand why, though, given Joe Biden reportedly, and a very reliable source, is saying we can use her to win an election, and Donald Trump is the opposite. She's playing a part in a potential American presidential election. Glenn, what do you think?
Oh, look, there's plenty of people that I know around, without naming myself as a closet Tay fan, but it's amazing. Look, you know, on a serious note, girl power. You know, we talk about women leading from the front, and Tay, you know, she is leading from the front. She's taken not only her music career by storm, but her business career, her asset career. She is leading the way and shows that, you know, just a country and western singer, I think she started out as, can just take over the world, you know. And look, I wish her all the best. And the songs, you know, my favourite song, well, that's me. Can
you sing us a line, Glenn? Before we go, I want a quick line from each of you.
Thank you, Taylor, for making us, all the good guys, look a little bit better.
Not
because
a line
all you...
Taylor. She's not going to watch. I want a line from her song. Wes, give me a line.
He's going to hate.
Thank you, gentlemen. You've been absolutely wonderful. Thanks. She might be watching, actually. I should not be so dismissive of this show and its big audience. Gentlemen, brilliant. Thank you so much.